And there is a man who has done it all as a goaltender and an ambassador, Vladislav Kretjak. What else can you say? He has been outstanding. And there is Wayne Stevenson, who has played so well for Philadelphia since Bernie Perron was injured. Pride of Fort William, Ontario. And here we go. The final chapter in Super Series 76. About to be written as Lloyd Gilmour goes to center ice. And there is Bobby Clark against Loktev. And this game is underway. Kharlamov tipped it to center ice. Back up the line, Gusev played it back. Now they clear it up through the middle. Vasiliev couldn't get it going, but Gusev circled. Gusev being watched by Clark in forechecking. He got away from him. The pass to center ice, and they're on the move. The Soviets in with the first shot in wide as Loktev was away off the target. Now back of the goal, Philadelphia's Jimmy Watson starting out. Watson played it up toward the line. Here's Barber at center. Barber knocked it in across the line, then he ran into Vasiliev as he got rid of it. Gusev picked it up and was called in the offside.
Denny Potvin with us in the broadcast booth to analyze the game as it goes along. Denny, briefly last night, you fellows beaten 2-1 by the Wings. Did you find them tough to skate with, because we hear so much about the Soviet skating?
I think that probably the Soviet Wings showed us skating ability that we probably hadn't seen before. They seem to always be skating with the puck.
And now Barber shoots one in, right on. Kretjak stopped that easily. Gusev, who handles the puck in his own zone, lost it. Barber's shot on the short side stop. Now Leach in the corner trying to center it. Leach along the boards, cuts back to the line to DuPont. Into Bobby Clark behind the net. He centers it. It comes back to good enough. And his shot is wide. The Soviets, Vasiliev clearing it up on the wing. Mikhailov left it there, and Loktev goes in. His shot, a low drive stop by Stevenson. No score in this first period, nearing the 2-minute mark. And in the center ice area, Bobby Clark comes down with Barber. Barber makes the shot, now shoots it. Now shoots it. Right in front of the net. And the backhander by Leach was wide and missed. Gusev again, number 2 for Red Army, out to the line. Kharlamov, and he can move it. Everybody knows what the Leach who stopped him at the line. Now Kharlamov tipped it over on the other side. Here they come. Nikolov took a long shot. That was stopped by Stevenson. Don Ferry back of the goal for Philadelphia. Coming down in the wing, Dornhofer couldn't pick it up. It was cleared by Luchenko down the ice. It'll go to the line, and then was stopped by Watson. Now the pass stopped in center by Loktev. He has to circle back with it. Leaves it for Luchenko. Luchenko, stick handling in his own zone dangerously, but played it up to Alexandrov near the line. They're stopped at the Flyers' blue line by Lonsberry. Dornhofer can't reach it. A penalty coming up. An interference call likely. As Kretjak goes down to stop it, Alexandrov is going up.
From the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Super Series 76.
There's the penalty at center ice as play is underway again, and the Flyers start out. Now it's McLeish coming in over the line. McLeish lost it. Right in front of the net it comes. And Loktev for Red Army up to center ice. Vikulov lifted off on the wing. Solodukin going in. He's on as the penalty killer. Now Clark nearly intercepts at center. Blake brings it out with Bobby Clark on his left. Blake shooting! Stopped by Kretjak. It's kept in by McLeish. McLeish in the corner. And the Flyers pass it around. Here's Leach getting set. Here's Barber with a chance. Good shot! And that's stopped by Kretjak. In front of McLeish. Oh, the big save by Kretjak. Now Blake missed one. And the Soviets, Red Army, Luchenko coming up to center ice, stopping. He's bullied off the puck by Bladen. Carrying on as Loktev shooting it into the Flyers' zone. Kretjak has been outstanding on this power play by the Flyers. He's had 3 big saves. Now Kindred-Chuck whistles away at center ice. There he goes over the line. Kindred-Chuck cutting in, stopping in the corner. Back to the line. Here's a shot by Goodenough. And it's cleared away again. They can't put it right. Another penalty coming up. And we're getting double penalties, I believe. Dornhofer the Soviet, Glasov the other.
Today's game is coming to you from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Double penalties called by referee Lloyd Gilmour. Glasov of the Soviets gets a penalty for tripping, and Gary Dornhofer of the Flyers has been sent off for interference. So it's 5 against 4 right now. The Flyers still with the man advantage. 40 seconds remaining in the initial penalty to the Soviets' Alexandrov.
Okay, Dick. And coming up to the 4-minute mark, we have yet to see a goal scored. At center ice, this is good enough with Kindrachuk coming in. Kindrachuk shoots! And Petyak doing a quick move to his right, stopped it with his arm. Down the ice it goes. Good enough coming back for Philadelphia. No score. Philadelphia with a man advantage. And here's DuPont racing up to center ice. DuPont down to the left side, across the line. Kindrachuk was pushed around, now down back of the net. The pass into the corner. Kindrachuk right in. Oh! And he rifled it at Petyak, who had covered up on the angle.
Denny, this is your first look at the Army team on this trip, in-person look, but you've seen a lot of the fellow who's been the #1 story right here, Tretiak, on the ice. How would you describe his goaltending style? Other than brilliant right now.
He seems to be doing everything amazingly well. I think what I've noticed is he seems to move from side to side of that net better than any goaltender I've seen, and that allows for a lot of those shots to seem like they're hitting him in the chest, but actually he's covering those angles extremely well.
8 seconds left in Alexandrov's penalty. And the Flyers have the man advantage for that time. Jimmy Watson to Van Impe. Van Impe shoots it, and he grazed the goalpost. Here's Jimmy Watson again. In front it goes. Another quick shot. Scramble. Petyak is down. Kelly couldn't jam it in. And the play is called.
Well, to this point in the hockey game, the Flyers have mustered 10 shots to just 2 on behalf of the Soviet team. So territorially, that's the same old story. And territorially, it's the same old story with Tretiak.
I think that he seems to be covering those angles, and the Flyers are completely disorganizing him. Should be a good game if it keeps going this way.
Well, that's one thing we've noticed about Tretiak is he doesn't seem to make those heart-stopping saves. It's just, he's there. It's that angle coverage that he does. He did that in Montreal, and he's doing it again to start.
Now from the face-off, they're 5 aside. Joe Watson lost it. Nikolov racing down for the Soviets. Up over the line he goes, trying to stick handle around that one defenseman, but failed to do it. Bladen just took him right out of the play. Here's Selesky coming back with Prince. Up over the line. Joe Watson took a shot away off the net. Now winding up his Bladen. Oh, he hit the goalpost on the short side. Selesky near the point. On the boards, he was stopped. Chris tries to hustle back on the goal. He's in first, but couldn't get his balance. Solodukin all over him. Selesky in the corner. Selesky stops. Still has it. Selesky cuts for the net. Gave it to Chris. He takes a shot. He hit the side of the net with it. Selesky around the goal. Philadelphia all around the net. Selesky is knocked down. Gets back up to one knee and now on his skates. Still battling in there, and they finally get a whistle with the sticks going high. That's Vladimir Loktev and Selesky.
Tretiak's out of his net. I think that a lot of people wondered what might happen here today from a physical standpoint, with the Flyers, of course, noted for same. And let's hope that nothing serious develops. The Flyers have directed 18 shots toward the Soviet net. 10 of them have been on. The Soviets have had 3 at the goal and 2 of them on. When Alexandrov was penalized, I don't know what was going on down in the area of the Soviet bench, but Loktev, and there you see him now, the Soviet head coach, he was really laughing it up with some of the fans in behind the glass.
17 seconds remaining in the penalties. Dornhofer and Glasov. Dornhofer serving interference. Glasov tripping. Here's the face-off to the right of Tretiak. Down into the corner. Loktev is bumped by Kindrachuk. Now Loktev goes flying back into Kindrachuk. But Kindrachuk has the puck on his stick. In to help is Barber, back of the net. Barber couldn't get away from Loktev. Now in the corner. Still in control. The penalized players are back on. And Barber is knocked down up the side of the net. The play is called as they whistle it dead to the left of the Soviet goal.
Point out the absentees. The Soviet players missing number 6 to Genkov, who has a concussion. And Number 23, Shlukov, with a fever and is not dressed. And Petrov, the big center man, number 16, who played so well in the first two games, missing again because of a groin injury.
And, Dick, while we have a moment, and you're talking about injuries, a hello and a get well to Bruce Hood, the number one referee in the National Hockey League, who suffered a broken jaw in a collision with Chuck Lefley the other night.
It was Tuesday night in St. Louis. Bruce so wanted to work that game last night between the Islanders and the Wings, but did not get the chance. Dave Newell refereed that game. Lloyd Gilmour, the referee here this afternoon.
And he now is parked to the right of Tretiak as the faceoff comes up to the goaltender's left. And they'll have to do it again. They're out of position. Nearing the 6-minute mark of the period. 5:51 gone and no score. A lot of action, especially around the Red Army goal. Flyers have carried the play so far to this Red Army team. Here it comes back to the line. Leach lost it. And breaking out of their own zone, Mikhailov coming down. Over the line to Maltsev and a shot wide. And in quickly was Kharlamov, but he was stopped. Back come the Flyers. This is Schultz. Schultz racing up over the line, dropped it in front. Clark couldn't get a shot, and Tretiak has scooped it in and held on to it.
We've just had word from down around the penalty box area. Here's Schultz. That the Soviets have been warned about mimicking toward the referee, making gestures, etc. That if it continues, apparently Gilmour felt he was running into this sort of thing early from the Soviet players. They've been told through the interpreter at the penalty box, if it continues, they will be penalized.
Now Mikhailov and Schultz having some, I can't say conversation, but a type of glaring at one another as they get ready for this face-off. Here's Schultz and Mikhailov. Schultz is in the corner. Schultz couldn't get a stick on it. Back of the net, Clark was bumped heavily, and it's cleared up through the middle. That's Mikhailov failing to go very far. Barber comes back in with Clark. Clark along the blue line with Schultz getting set right in front. Oh! It's cleared away out of the goal crease before Barber could get a stick on it. Clark keeping it in. Bobby Clark, his low shot is wide. And Schultz back of the net. And he's being pushed around by Vasilyev. It comes to Barber, circles. Barber in for Clark and went behind him. And Vasilyev tossed it the other way. Good enough was there. In front, Barber, backhand shot. And that one was wide. They're all around the goal again. Vasilyev trying to move it out. DuPont ran into Mikhailov on the boards. And now the play is called. I think DuPont is going off.
And a very unnecessary penalty it was. This is Super Series 76 from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Flyers playing shorthanded for the first time. DuPont has been penalized for high sticking. It came after the fact. The puck had gone out to center ice, and here you see the exchange right there. And for flicking his stick in Mikhailov's face, DuPont goes to the penalty box.
So now the real test for Philadelphia. There are the penalty killers. As DuPont is off and they shoot it down the ice. That's Luchenko behind the goal. Luchenko starts out in front of his own net as they line up on the power play, and here they come. Luchenko at center. Luchenko going in across the line with Vikulov. Vikulov passed it over for Alexandrov. He waits, doesn't shoot it, trying to roll it in front. Here's Loktev over for Luchenko. Back to Loktev. Loktev shoots. It's stopped right in front by Lonsberry, who calmly fell in front of it, and then McLeish up to Lonsberry. Lonsberry at center decides to pass it back for Jimmy Watson. Jimmy Watson going in, and offside was McLeish on the right wing. 1:17 left in DuPont's penalty.
Denny, what about the Wings last night as far as the power play was concerned? Were you impressed?
Well, it seemed as though the Wings were playing a basic type of a power play. They were keeping a man far out in the slot and keeping a man off to the side, and it didn't present too much problems because we had seen it many times before against teams like the Flyers and the Canadians, and we were able to kill off all of their power plays.
No score in the first period. Kindrachuk breaks through. Kindrachuk comes back out over his own line all the way back for Bladen. Bladen for Joe Watson. Joe Watson along the boards to Kindrachuk. He was stopped, and they hold it and get a whistle. 1:04 remaining in DuPont's high-sticking penalty.
And Kindrachuk out there killing the penalty along with Selesky. And Watson, Joe Watson, and Bladen on defense. Bernie Perron, of course, is missing. I know he'd love to be here. Apparently, Bernie's in Jamaica.
He's in Jamaica, resting for a few days. Yes, Dick. As as you say, he would like to be here, along with Fred Shiro and all the Flyers. Out from the face-off at center, Kharlamov. The big stars in this series. Back over the line, he goes to center. Kharlamov going in. Nikulov couldn't get the pass. And the Flyers, Kindrachuk, send them right back. Coming out, Gusev. Big Gusev to center. And it's stopped by Joe Watson. He clears it off the boards and back in again. 35 seconds remaining in DuPont's penalty. And down the ice it goes to the right of Stevenson. This will be icing against the Red Army. No score nearing the 9-minute mark of the first period.
And so far, Denny, the Flyers have done all right. They have still limited the Soviets to just 2 shots on goal, none during this power play.
I think the Flyers, what they've been able to do is neutralize the way the Soviets are used to coming out of their own zones. You see those long passes aren't working for the Soviets. The Flyers have gotten them pretty leery of the fact that they're going to hit them at center ice, and they're not as anxious to go for that puck as they should be.
And there is the Soviet broadcaster, Mr. Ozerov, down at ice level, his usual spot.
Funny play.
The Philadelphia Flyers, Barber takes a weak shot. Clark hops after it. Can't pick it up, although he sends Gusev off to the boards. Now his long pass to center. Kharlamov going up over the line, dropped it back, and the Flyers break it up, the 2-man break. And Clark going in with Barber. And Clark was belted hard on the play by Vasiliev. At center ice, Jimmy Watson with 2 seconds left in DuPont's penalty. Now it's over, and the Flyers are back at full strength. Coming down across the line, Malsep cuts in front and lost it. Now he went flying. Play is called. Penalty coming up on Van Impe.
With 10:50 remaining in the first period, the score, the Soviet Red Army nothing, the Philadelphia Flyers nothing. Ed Van Impe in the penalty box for hooking. The Flyers just killing off a penalty to Dornhofer. Now they are shorthanded once again. We saw that
they line up inside the Philadelphia line. They get the draw. Keep it in. McLeish couldn't clear it. A pass back to the line. Volchenkov took a shot. That was off the net. Kept in by Glasov. But now the Flyers get it out to center. Gudjurgen dropped it back inside his own line. Volchenkov up to center. Goes up near the Philadelphia line. They're still in control. And that high shot went off the arm of Stevenson. DuPont, number 6 for Philadelphia, shoots a high one down the ice. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining in Van Impe's penalty. No score in this first period, nearing the halfway mark. And here come the Soviets again. Gudjurgen at center. Up across the line. DuPont took a swipe at it. Couldn't move it out. Play is called, and they're offside. It was out and back in again.
Denny, on our telecast of the Montreal game, Howie Meeker showed a special feature of Vasiliev, number 5, and the way that he can body check. He threw quite a jolt into Bobby Clark here a moment ago. He is a good defenseman.
He seems to be, the lateral movement is exceptional.
Right.
I saw the way he moved over to Bobby Clark, and Bobby is a very alert hockey player. He normally would have seen that, but he moved across very quickly.
Kindrachuk going down over the line, lost it. Now down inside the line, Vasiliev winding up. His pass on the right side, Maltsev goes to center on the power play. Couldn't stick handle through. Joe Watson ran into him. And down the ice it goes again with 55 seconds remaining in Van Impe's penalty. Gusev's long pass. Clark watching Kharlamov. Kharlamov circles inside his own line. He got by Bobby Clark to center. Clark still after him. Up over the line, and he's bumped off the puck, and the Flyers send the Soviets back for it. Gusev winding up again. Dropped it over to Kharlamov. In his own zone, out to center, Mikhailov backs up again, and they get going on the power play now. Everybody's circling. Gusev was tilted hard by DuPont. Oh, what a check at the blue line. Down the ice for Vasiliev in his own zone. Barber ran into him and knocked him flying. Kharlamov in the corner. He had it poked away from him. The Flyers getting physical now. Oh, Kharlamov was really belted by Bill Barber. Right in. Oh, the backhand shot. And Kharlamov is still dizzy after that check. Out it comes to the line. And this is Mikhailov going down. The penalty is over. Flyers at full strength. Mikhailov, oh, again. Kharlamov is
belted by Van Impe, and he's straight on the ice. Van Impe from the penalty box ran into Kharlamov. The Soviets are all standing up. They want a penalty, but I'll tell you, Dick, that was a solid check, and I didn't see too much wrong with it.
Certainly in the games I've seen, I would have to think this is the toughest exchange. Denny, I don't know how rough it was last night at the island, but in these last few moments we have seen more physical contact than in any of the games that I've seen, either in person or on the television version of it. Here it comes again now. This is part of it. I'm not sure what's the one. There's the one we have just seen with Van Impe against Kharlamov. And he, as Bob mentioned, is shaky. He's up now, and he's back to the bench.
It just seems as though it was a pretty good, solid check, and the checks have been pretty solid and I think pretty honest so far in the game. It seems as though Philadelphia has got the Soviets leery of them, and they're watching for it to get hit.
Now we have got the Soviets asking for the referee to come over. There is Victor, as he's known, the interpreter, who is there. Loktev, the coach, is very upset.
Dick, down on the other end of the bench, Mikhailov and Alexandrov have their sticks up to their right now. Who's to their right? The Flyers are farther down. They can't reach them. But Alexandrov and Mikhailov have their sticks high, and we couldn't quite see what had happened after the crowd got up.
Well, that's the scene right there. We can't see it from where we are because we are within the crowd. Everyone is standing up in front of us. Now, I think Gilmour is giving a penalty to the Soviet bench. 2 minutes. We'll have to wait for the announcement on this, but that would appear to have been the call made by referee Gilmour, who is the man in the middle. And it's a delay of game penalty against the Soviets. And now I notice some of the Soviet players turning around, applauding back at the crowd with grins on their faces. There is the interpreter. He's the tall chap you see standing there. And the signs are hauled up, and obviously they came prepared. That's the sign man down to our left behind the Soviet net.
Dick, Matt Pavlich, number 7, the linesman, also understands Russian, and he is helping out with, as you point out, the tall gentleman, Victor. And that's Loktev to his right, who's rather perturbed at this stage. But Pavlich understands the language, and he's trying to help out there.
They are leaving the ice.
They're going to go.
The Soviets are leaving.
They're going home. They're going home. Yeah, they're going home.
Can you imagine? Denny, it's been a short afternoon.
Oh, it's terrible. They're acting like a very frustrated hockey club, and I think they're displaying poor sportsmanship.
Can you believe it, Dennis?
I certainly can't believe it. I thought they'd have a little more pride and to play the game.
In 72, in Moscow, we stayed, and we took it all. And in 74, and now, the Philadelphia Flyers roam around a little bit, and they're going home.
Valeri Kharlamov, who is always a very important man in situations like this, in these international-type hockey competitions, has left his spot in the penalty box and has gone directly to the Soviet room. I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of persuasion tried right about here. Whether they are going to just call it quits or have to be talked into coming back, I don't know. They were certainly, Denny, being outplayed as far as the game was concerned. Freddie Shiro, who said prior to the game, this is the biggest day of his life, and must be equally as frustrated as everybody in the building is.
It seems to me in 72 that the Canadians going over to Russia were subject to all of the abuse and all of the circumstances that we were at a disadvantage. And I certainly can't understand why the Russians would not accept the situations here in Canada or in the United States not being all that bad. Simple fact that it seems as though they're being outplayed and they're playing like a frustrated hockey club.
Dennis, right now, I can't imagine why they're going home unless, of course, it was that last call by the referee of a 2-minute penalty for delay of game.
I think the Russians have seen themselves hurt a few Canadian players, and I'm sure that incidents like that have happened before. As far as we could see, it seemed like a solid body check, and I could not see anything wrong with it or dishonest, and I really can't understand their reaction to the call.
Soviet Army team is back on the ice here at the Spectrum with 8:39 left to play in the first period and a scoreless hockey game. The delay has been approximately 15 minutes. Ron Andrews of the National Hockey League was downstairs while the discussion was being held. The gist of the story is this. The Soviets have said they do not want to be part of a boxing match. They said that they would continue the hockey game, but that boxing is not a part of hockey, and they don't like what they see their players being hit on the jaw. At the same time, they protested violently the 2-minute delay of game penalty, which was assessed and which will stand, I assume, when it's all over. Clarence Campbell, Alan Eagleson, and the various officials, the refereeing staff, and the Soviet team officials who were in on the discussion. Also, they checked with the Flyers. Keith Allen had stated that he did not want his team to be intimidated and have to change its style of play because of the Soviets' reaction. Now, that was Ron's story as he came up, and about 2 minutes after he did come up, the teams began returning to the ice. So that's where it stands. On the clock right now, there is no indication that the penalty is being assessed, but the penalty door is open, and Gilmour surely has to make that penalty stand, I am sure. So a very, very dicey moment on the international hockey scene. Bob Cole, you saw a few dicey ones in 72 and again in 74, and here we are once more.
You know, Dick, it's an incredible story. I guess somebody should write a book along those lines. All the confusion that prevailed in the 72 series. And you have to give full marks to a person like Alan Eagleson, who came through it all with flying colors and never let his feathers get out of the way at all. Had a lot of patience and ironed everything out when problems did occur. And then in 74, much the same. We had all types of problems with officials and selections of officials and so on. But they always seem to, the favor always goes to the Soviet Union. We sort of back up and give them a go. And let's see what happens now. As play is underway again, there's no score. The Soviet team is shorthanded on that bench minor. And this is Leach shooting it in. Back of the goal. Loktev, he was bumped likely. Barber took a shot. They score! Reggie Leach.
Well, Danny, you mentioned about the reaction that something like that might have on the team, the Soviet team, and bingo, we come out, and in about 40 seconds worth of hockey time, the Flyers have scored. Pretty good deflection by Leach.
Certainly is. Reggie Leach has that habit of coming in from behind the net and standing in front when that shot is taken, and he was there for that perfect deflection that beat Trechak. Trechak never had a chance at it.
And now here's Barber going in. Barber offside at the Soviet line.
So it was a power play goal, and the penalty being served was the one called for the delay of game. And it was Leach from Barber. I'll double check it. It was at 11:38.
1-0 Philadelphia. Gusev shoots it in for Red Army. Behind the net, Stevenson. And he hasn't had too much work to do so far in the game. Down at the other end, Petyak has been brilliant. But they've beaten him once. Now Mikhailov through center ice. Mikhailov's pass. And the Soviets having some difficulty. Maltsev has to pass it back. Gusev faked to Maltsev and gave it to Vasilyev. Vasilyev back in his own zone. Back of the net. Clark couldn't stop him. Gusev, a long pass, comes up to Mikhailov. He was bumped by Watson. And Clark in the center ice area for Philadelphia to Barber. Barber is stopped at center ice. Again, Mikhailov. Here's Clark with a shot as he intercepted, and that was stopped. In the center ice area, Maltsev was draped to the ice. He got back up slowly. And now coming out, Mikhailov through center. Mikhailov's pass. And it's stopped by Schultz on the boards. They hold it briefly. Now Kindrachuk circling in his own zone, starting out. Here's Kindrachuk down the left side. He got by Vasilyev. Now Schultz is in there. He couldn't center it. It's Kindrachuk behind the goal. In front it comes. Zaleski's shot. Hit a leg. Gusev blocked it. Back of the net, Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk gets set to make a play. Out to the line. Oh, and a broken stick shot by Barber, or rather Bladen. Back for the Soviets. Mikhailov back to the line. It's broken up, and Schultz is turning with Selesky. He's coming up over the Soviet line. Here's Schultz rolling it right in front, and it hits Selesky's skate. Schultz still has it. Out front he comes. Oh! Schultz with a noble effort, but his shot just wide. Back of the net into the corner is Schultz again. Schultz flipped it in for Selesky. He's stopped by Lokotko. Now it's Solodukin winding up in his own zone. Solodukin up the ice at center. He's up over the line and bumped off the puck at the blue line. And DuPont takes over. 1-0 Philadelphia. Nearing the 15-minute mark of the period. And down into the Soviet zone. Here's Luchenko. Luchenko's pass hit McLeish. That stopped that play. And it's Dornhofer. And his shot went up high over the net. Alexandrov is bumped by McLeish. Kept in by Lonsberry. And back for Lokotko. The Soviets completely disorganized on the board checking of the Philadelphia Flyers. McLeish on the boards. He tried to set it up in the corner, took a swipe at it, and it went along the glass. Lonsberry couldn't set it up for Dornhofer. Now the Soviets get to the line, and that's as far as they got, with good enough breaking up the play. Again, they send them back, and Lokotko in his own zone back of the net. Lokotko starting out. McLeish watching him. The pass goes off on the wing. Now Luchenko decides to go the other way with it. Luchenko up to center, a pass on the right side. That didn't work for Kutyrkin. And back for McLeish. A long shot in wide as the Flyers change on the goal. 4:50 remaining in the period, 1-0 Philadelphia. The pass by Popov down on the left wing. And it's Labanov. He was stopped. And into the corner, Philadelphia Flyers, Jimmy Watson falling. Kutyrkin was bumped. And Philadelphia's Bobby Clark looks around, goes in front of his own net with it. Bobby Clark comes up near the blue line, couldn't hit Barber with the pass. Vlasov slipped it off to Popov. Popov at center has to turn back with it. Popov back near his own blue line, up through the middle, and Kutyrkin was stopped by Barber. Barber feeds it ahead. Jimmy Watson is knocked to the ice by Vlasov, and Van Impe has to race back. 4 minutes remaining in the first period. 1-0 Philadelphia, the score. A long pass to Leach. Leach going in. He couldn't control it. It hit his skate. Now it's Bladen working his way in. Bladen is stopped at the blue line. And Red Army coming back. Popov going in, winding up. Shoots. It's deflected up over the glass, into the crowd.
Well, here again, the update on the shots. 14-2 total as far as shots on goal are concerned. The shots at the goal favor the Flyers by a margin of 30-8. Incidentally, that's a statistic, Denny, they keep in the Soviet Union. We don't really keep it here officially, but they do over there.
Al Arbor tends to keep that statistic quite a bit, too, and he lets us know whether or not we're missing the net quite often, and to us it seems to be very important. And in this game, Flyers could have another couple of goals probably if they'd hit a couple of times out of those 30 shots.
Now from the face-off in the Philadelphia zone, they couldn't get out. Kharlamov nearly got loose in front, and he's always dangerous. On the boards, stopped by Bridgman. He couldn't move it. And then he and Vasiliev do a little pushing. DuPont came in quickly.
Now, Mel Bridgman, the first-year man out of the Western Junior League, has been involved a couple of times this year. Today, rather, in sort of after-the-fact nudging, elbowing, etc.
Puck comes to center ice with 3:30 remaining in the period. Here's DuPont at center, picking his way in, shoots it off the boards. Bridgman races back of the net. Bridgman was in first to center it. From the scramble, Selesky had it hop over his stick. Kharlamov is stopped immediately up the line. Maltsev couldn't go with it. Now Philadelphia shooting it in again. Good enough. Broke it up and cleared it in. Vasiliev dropped it for Gusev. Gusev around his own net. For Vasiliev, he couldn't get it out. Kept in. Good enough fill, though. And Gusev gets another opportunity to bring it out again. Here's Gusev's long pass. Kharlamov tried to hit the winger Mikhailov and couldn't. Selesky shoots it in for Philadelphia. 2:45 remaining in the period, and 1-0 Philadelphia on Leach's goal. The pass on the right side, And Dornhofer ran into Vasiliev rather heavily. Coming back. They move it up over the line. A long pass by Mikhailov didn't work. It's cleared in front of the net on the boards. And Philadelphia, two-man break again. A breakaway. McLeish going right in on goal. Goal! Beautiful goal by McLeish.
Terrific shot.
Pretty good job of interference run, too, by Gary Dornhofer, but Rick McLeish is an excellent shooter. Not too often, Dennis, you'll see the Soviets get caught like this. Here it comes. Watch the interference on the part of the one flyer right there as he moves over at the line. Here's McLeish. Perfect spot.
Just a terrific shot. Tretiak made the move down, and McLeish just put it in the top corner. Beautiful.
McLeish again! Oh, and that's stopped by Tretiak. McLeish back of the net. Back to the blue line to Van Impe. And the play is called. Penalties coming up again in the Soviet zone. That goal, by the way, at 17:37. 2-0, Philadelphia.
Lonsbury in on the assist. We have a Philadelphia penalty to Gary Dornhofer. It's a boarding call. We can get a shot of the Soviet bench right now, but Loktev is making quite a speech. He has walked, there he is. He has walked down in front. He is right between the players and the bench, and he is, I guess, upset with the way that play developed. As I mentioned, Bob, you don't see, or at least we haven't seen so far in this series, the Soviets get caught too often. Murray Wilson had a good breakaway in the first minute play in Montreal.
And what they've been talking about all over the country is the speed of the Soviets, but McLeish really turned it on there and pulled away from everybody. Beautiful goal. Nikolov is doing some stick handling in his own zone. 2-0 Philadelphia. And it's Loktev. He's stopped by Barber. Barber on the boards in forechecking. Then Loktev took him out of the play. Clark ran into Solodukin. And they have a scare for each other.
Funny to say this, but it seems as though I wouldn't want to be in Stevenson's shoes. He's been sitting there getting very cold. I think it was a factor in the Montreal Soviet game.
Nikolov coming out now. He passes it off on the left side. Luchenko was belted at the blue line. Bobby Clark flipped it through his skates for Barber. Barber is going in on goal. And the rebound as Tretiak made no mistake with a stick save. Bobby Clark keeping it in. Now he comes to center. They're killing a penalty, remember. 1:15 left in the penalty to Dornhofer. They send them back again. Loktev back of the net for Red Army. Now the pass. Maltsev on the left side coming out with Luchenko. Gets the pass. Maltsev couldn't hang on to it, though. And Kindrachuk looks for the opening. He beat Maltsev, then fired it out to center. This is Selesky going in. He was stopped on the poke check at the blue line and then put himself offside.
50 seconds left in the penalty to Gary Dornhofer. 54 seconds remaining in this first period. And if the Soviets fail to get a shot from here on, here's that chance by Barber as he broke in, killing the penalty, and Tretiak makes the save. That will be the low water mark as far as shots on goal in the period is concerned. They have had just 2 so far. The Flyers have had 17.
Face-off now comes to center. Jimmy Watson backing up. Jimmy Watson with DuPont. They're still killing a penalty. He shoots it on the boards down the ice. Gusev is coming back. Tretiak stopping it behind the goal. 35 seconds left in the penalty to Dornhofer. Gusev's pass to Luchenko at center, rather Maltsev at center. Now he drops it back for Mikhailov. He's stopped calmly by the Philadelphia defense unit. Kindrachuk hearing it. Vasilyev's pass didn't work. Gusev tries it again. Gusev goes behind the goal. Selesky comes to the bench for a change. Dornhofer has 10 seconds left in the penalty. And the Soviets, led by Maltsev, inside the line. Maltsev into the corner. Pass to Mikhailov, who centered it. They couldn't get a shot on that attempt. Philadelphia covering up as Dornhofer is back on. The penalty is over, and so is the first period. A standing ovation for the Philadelphia Flyers as they go off leading 2-0. Maltsev, Mikhailov, Kharlamov with Vasiliev and Gusev. 2-0. Philadelphia. From the face-off, Clark got the draw for Barber.
And Jimmy Watson skips over center. He's up over the line. The pass for Lee. Shoots! And he drilled it just off the post to the far side. Vasiliev couldn't pick it up. Now it's Barber on the boards. Back of the net is Bobby Clark. Clark waits. Made a good move on Gusev, then lost it. And Gusev shoots it down the ice. That will be icing with Jimmy Watson back to touch it.
Matt Pavlich, working this game, one of the National Hockey League linesmen, can converse in the Soviet language. And a couple of times during this series, there have been dicey moments on the ice in regards to the officiating. Matt has come to the rescue with his knowledge of Russian.
Not only that, Dick, he has had some interesting comments to make. I was talking to him after the New York Ranger game, the first game of the Super Series, and some of the comments that he told me the Soviets would make to one another. Incredible. And they'd chew each other out when somebody went off sides and so on. This is Mikhailov in the center ice area. Back it goes inside the line. Vasiliev up on the wing, back to him again as Kharlamov relayed it. Now they set up the box in their own zone and try to get this system moving. They slowly pick their way to center as Mikhailov was stopped by McLeish. Gusev has to go back with it. Dornhofer all over him. It goes back to the goal. Now the long pass. Kharlamov racing in. DuPont cannot catch him. That'll be a penalty. No question about that one. Kharlamov upended on a near breakaway by DuPont.
From the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Super Series 76.
DuPont, 2 minutes. And now, the Soviets with a man advantage. 2-0 is the score. Philadelphia leading. And Bobby Clark got the face-off for Barber. Barber nearly broke through. Gusev bodied him out of the puck. And down it comes to Kharlamov, and he nearly was hit hard by Jimmy Watson, who came out of nowhere. He just barely missed him. Van Impe backhands one down the ice, and Gusev goes back. 1:35 remaining in the penalty to DuPont. The pass to Kharlamov. Kharlamov's pass hit Barber's stick. Barber is watching him very closely. Now this is Valeri Vasiliev. He left it at center. Maltsev nearly was belted. He got away from it. He jumped and went flying. As Clark comes back, Bobby Clark had it tapped away by Mikhailov. Now the Soviets. Kharlamov up to center on the power play. Up near the line, had it knocked away. It's chopped to the boards, and Kindrachuk again. Out to Selesky at center. Selesky winds up, doesn't shoot it, carries on. Now the shot! And that one nearly was knocked in. Tretiak made the save, but it dribbled down underneath him, and he managed to fall on it.
Vinny, the Flyers are doing a great job killing the penalties. You had Barber with a breakaway chance while killing one in the first period. Good shot there by Selesky.
Selesky took a quick shot. I think he might have caught Tretiak a little off guard. It was a good shot, quick wrist shot.
DuPont in the penalty box, 55 seconds left in his hooking penalty.
2-0 Philadelphia. Kindrachuk with the draw for the Flyers. Oh, and Tretiak covered up on the short side. Here's Selesky intercepting to Kindrachuk. His shot was blocked in front of the net. And the Soviet Red Army team coming back down over the line. The pass on the left side to Alexandrov. Alexandrov in position. His shot hit a skate and went to the corner. In there was Bladen trying to clear Selesky, and he does with Kindrachuk. Back to Selesky, going in for the shot. The rebound is good. So Watson, 3-0. Flyers.
Well, Denny, we talked about the scoring chances when they were shorthanded. They caught the Soviets that time, and they were just flying up there. Again, Selesky with a good play.
Again, Selesky goes in and takes a good, quick shot. Tretiak couldn't handle the puck, and Watson, who came in from his defense position. And again, the Soviets were caught with only one man back.
The first shorthanded goal for the NHL in this series. .244, the time of the third goal, a shorthanded effort, and Bobby Clark wing with Barber.
and his shot is stopped by Fredjak. Now Vikulov failing to bring it out. Bobby Clark throws it into the crease, and Luchenko got away from him. Luchenko up to the line at center ice. They play it in for Vikulov. He was hammered by Van Impe. And the Flyers send the Soviets back again. Now DuPont is on. No icing on that play. They kill another penalty and get a goal to boot. 3-0 Philadelphia. Here's Jimmy Watson going in. He centered it. It went behind Lonsberry. McLeish couldn't get in there in time. Lonsberry on the boards was fooled on a move. At center ice, Luchenko going up over the line. Threw it in front, and Alexandrov was covered. Lonsberry didn't see that pass. Solodukin in his own zone. The pass up to Vikulov. Alexandrov near his own blue line. Number 11. Alexandrov stick handling up near the line. McLeish dropped it back. Lonsberry from center ice shoots it in. That's in wide. Here's Dornhofer. And he let one fly. That went wide of the net. Rebounds all the way down the ice, and DuPont has it at the 4-minute mark of the second period. 3-0 Philadelphia. McLeish going in. He was stopped by Glassov, but now good enough in for a shot. A weak one was stopped. The rebound is cleared into the corner, and here's McLeish wheeling around in front of Lonsberry. He can't shoot it. Lonsberry still waiting. Back of the net. Dornhofer circles. It's set, and a weak shot as he was knocked to the ice. Now it's cleared by Volchenkov. They come out over the line. Long shot by Glassov, and that's stopped easily by Stevenson. The Flyers come back again. That's only the third shot Stevenson has had to stop in this game. Here's Kelly racing in. Kelly went barreling into the corner. They're fighting for possession down there, and Kelly has it. Here's Kelly centering it right in front of the net. Here Chris took a swipe at it. Kelly again in front of the goal to Chris. And Chris can't get a shot away. It comes back near the blue line, and the Soviets take the center. Dubjergin left it there. Then Labanov was upended. And it's cleared down the ice again. Nearing the 6-minute mark of the second period as Terry Chris hands it off on the wing. Bridgman takes a long shot. Here's Kelly. He's all over the place. Kelly in back of the net. And he and Volchenkov rough it up a little. Now the Flyers in possession in the Soviet zone. Kelly goes behind the goal. Kelly tried to set it up in front. Glassov stopped him. On the other side, Popov, and he was stopped by Joe Watson. Kelly is spun around behind the net. And the Soviets completely disorganized in their own zone with the Flyers all over them. 3-0 Philadelphia. Red Army shooting it in. Joe Watson, who scored the third goal for the Flyers, played it up for Kindrachuk and lost it. It's centered. Now here's Maltsev right in front of the net, and Joe Watson made a good move on Popov and tied him up in front of the net as Schultz comes out. He and Selesky together with Blake up over the line, and Schultz in front of Selesky. He shoveled it in wide. Here's Schultz again after it. Maltsev couldn't stop him. Now Kharlamov breaking out on a solo dash. It's Kharlamov dropping it. Mikhailov took a shot. That was blocked by Bladen. Selesky coming out for Philadelphia to Schultz. Schultz up over the line, and he had it poked off his stick. Now Mikhailov in his own zone. Skates back over center. In over the line is Mikhailov. The pass to Gusev. Here's Gusev. He couldn't center it with Jimmy Watson watching him. Now into the corner. Mikhailov. He's pushed around by Van Impe. They do some shoving, and Jimmy Watson carries on. The long pass went by Schultz down the ice, and it'll be icing against Philadelphia.
Today's game is coming to you from the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia 3, Soviet Army no score, and you see some of the fans here at the Spectrum. They're just loving it. From the face-off, it comes up to the center ice area. Gustav nearly lost it. Now Bobby Clark goes in, but offside was Leach. A close call at the Soviet blue line.
Bob, I'd have to think that Bobby Clark wins the applause meter award for the largest ovation of any of the players and any of the teams that I've seen so far when things started here this afternoon. Boy, it was really something.
Clark getting the draw again up over the line. Here's Leach. He fanned on it. And Red Army starting back, led by Maltsev. Up over the blue line. Maltsev going in with Mikhailov in front with Kharlamov. And Stevenson went down. Now it's centered. Van Impe got a stick in the way of the pass. Gusev winding up. He shoots it. That's wide of the net, and Stevenson took it on the rebound and held on to it.
Denny Wayne Stevenson just made a pretty good stop there on a very quick shot. Certainly in this series, the Soviets have been so impressive the way that they can shoot the puck. They don't need too many shots to score a few goals. I think that was his toughest test.
The Soviets have shown that they can shoot the puck on stride, and you never know whether it's going to be a pass or a shot. And of course, this is an asset, and there's few players in the National Hockey League who can do this well. And you have guys like Guy Lafleur who can do it very well. And of course, these people are all high scorers.
Solodukin now with Vikulov and Alexandrov for Red Army. 3-0 the score. Philadelphia leading. Nearing the 8-minute mark of the second period as DuPont pushed it ahead. Kendrachuk left it for Lonsberry. Lonsberry around the net. Played it for Dornhofer. Dornhofer stopped on the boards by Alexandrov. Solodukin, his pass is stopped by DuPont. Solodukin now is checked away. And here's McLeish racing in. Oh, a hard shot. Stopped by Pretyak. Now Lonsberry fakes the shot. He got away from a check. Lonsberry to McLeish. He dropped it over in front of the net. And the Soviets clear it up on the left side. Vikulov coming down. He passes one in the general direction of the goal. Stevenson steered it away. DuPont in good enough. Bring it out over the line is good enough. Lifted a high one to center. Went by McLeish. And Solodukin flipped it back in. Dornhofer, number 12. Long pass for McLeish. Just missed him. McLeish is knocked down. And he got back up to get that puck down behind the net. McLeish couldn't center it, though. Solodukin was bumped by Dornhofer. Luchenko couldn't clear it. Dornhofer circles the goal. Back of the net. Schultz tried to poke it in front. Still on the boards. McLeish took a shot, and Pretyak covered it. Now Red Army coming out again. Solodukin's pass to center went astray. Alexandrov, the little fellow, throwing what weight he has around now. He hit DuPont. At center ice, Luchenko circles back with it. The pass to Solodukin. He's going in. Solodukin gets set. He lost control. And Volchenkov has to back up near his own blue line. Alexei Volchenkov's pass. Kudyrkin winding up. Kudyrkin left it on the other side for Popov. Popov back for Kudyrkin and went behind him. This will be icing. No, Stevenson had to play it. No icing called. Now Selesky. As they near the halfway mark of the second period and the game, Schultz racing in. Schultz got in there first, and he played it in behind the net. It's centered out to the line, and it's Kudyrkin coming down with Popov. Popov to Kudyrkin. His shot was spoiled partially. It hit a stick. Now a long drive that Stevenson grabs from Sergei Glasov. 10 minutes and 14 seconds remaining in the second period. Philadelphia Flyers 3. Soviet Red Army no score. Face off to the left of the Philadelphia net. Crisp is on at center against Kudyrkin. Crisp got the draw. Joe Watson going behind the goal in the corner. Bladen. A long pass over on the left wing. That was too far. And the Soviets take over it again. Starting out. The pass ahead. Labanov was stopped. He has to go back in his own zone. There he goes. Back of the net. Labanov waiting. Looking for the line mates to set up. He was stopped by Crisp. Now Volchenkov has it. He turns around, leaves it for Popov. Philadelphia forechecking the Red Army back in their own zone. They can't seem to figure this out at all. Up to center ice. Popov is stopped. Puck goes loose. Here come the Flyers. And down goes Bridgman across the line. Bridgman driving for the goal. Oh, and his backhander was just wide. Now Kudyrkin. He got away from Kelly, who just left the bench. The Soviets are in, and stopped was Popov. Now he got loose again and finally belted their shot. Score! A goal fired, blistering speed by Kudyrkin that Stevenson didn't see, and Popov is down on all fours.
And he scored the goal without his helmet. It had been knocked off on the other side of the rink after an exchange with Bob Kelly. We have Popov, the Soviet player, down on his knees, but he gets up and makes it to the bench. That's the first goal for the Soviets this afternoon. It comes on their sixth shot on goal, and that familiar pattern is developing again. Here comes the announcement. So 10:48, and Dennis, he really wound up. He used a slap shot that time. They don't do it too often in game situations.
That's right. They seem to be able to disprove everything we say, but it seemed like there was just a bit of a mix-up. Philadelphia, the whole flow of the players on the one side, and that shouldn't happen too often. They certainly don't
Now
miss
the
their
Soviets,
opportunities.
having scored their first goal, it's 3-1 Philadelphia. And Barber comes up with Bobby Clark and Leach. Barber going in with Clark, and the pass just did not go through. Mikhailov coming back down the ice with Maltsev. Maltsev going in. He's stopped by Jimmy Watson. Maltsev stopped in the corner. Now Vasilyev near the blue line. He took a shot. That hit Van Impe. It's centered back in front and cleared right away out over the line. Gusev. Pass up to Kharlamov. He circles near his own blue line. Kharlamov now organizing as the Soviets begin to come on. And there's a penalty coming up against Philadelphia on the play. Van Impe, I believe, will be going off.
It'll be the sixth time that the Flyers will have been in a penalty-killing situation. Van Impe gets the call for high sticking, not much doubt. I don't think that the Army has had a shot on goal in any of the previous power play opportunities they've had. But, Bob, here's another one.
And 3 seconds of that power play is now over. Van Impe for high sticking, and 8:26 remaining in the second period. 3-1 Philadelphia. Jimmy Watson knifes it out over the blue line. Gusev plays it back. Vasilyev left it at center. Mikhailov then left it for Maltsev. Maltsev coming up with Kharlamov and Mikhailov. Mikhailov flipped it in the zone. Into the corner, Jimmy Watson will try to get a whistle, and he is successful with 1:38 remaining in Van Impe's penalty.
That shorthanded goal scored by Watson earlier in this period. It's only the second time, if you count this as the 16th meeting between the Soviets and NHL opposition, only the second time that the NHL has scored a shorthanded goal.
Jimmy Watson going back of the net with Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk lost it. Maltsev couldn't center it. It went over the glass into the crowd, and the faceoff will come outside the Philadelphia blue line.
To complete that story on the shorthanded goal, Pete Mahovlich in the second game of the 72 series scored in Toronto. The Soviets have scored 4 through the first 15 games of this series, including, I'm sorry to say, Denny won last night.
That's right.
They got 3 in 1972.
You speak of that goal by Mahovlich, I don't think I'll ever forget it. What an effort by Big Peter. Now here's Kharlamov. He's going into the corner. Got away from Kindrachuk. The pass, Jimmy Watson couldn't stop. Yes, he does. And it goes down the ice. Volchenkov in front of his own goal. Play for Luchenko, who brings it out up to center. Kharlamov going in on the wing. Alexandrov was stopped. Now the quick shot didn't come off. Didn't get good wood on that one. Kindrachuk watching the play. Comes back to Volchenkov. Volchenkov gets a shot away, and Stevenson on the screen shot grabbed it. Then Dupont. Lead pass for Kindrachuk went by him. Van Impe has 50 seconds remaining in his penalty. 3-1 Philadelphia. Again, Kharlamov winding up. Out over the line they come to center ice. Cleared in by Vikulov over the line. Vikulov gets set. Stick handles off to the corner. Plays it back to the blue line. Volchenkov took a shot. And that was blocked in front of the net. Vikulov again to Volchenkov. Volchenkov to Vikulov. Vikulov gets set. Roll it right in front. It's in the crease. Oh, a loose puck. And the Flyers pile in the crease and keep it out. Kharlamov nearly had an empty net goal.
Boy, how'd he miss it? Denny, this is the first time in this game, even with the man advantage, that the Soviets have had the flow of play going, their way. They have controlled it here.
I think the Soviets can really control the puck very well once they get inside the opponent's zone. Up until now, the Flyers have been able to keep them out of the zone by lining up, and now it seems Soviets are piercing.
And that was just a super save, as you saw in the replay, with Stevenson making that grab, and Kharlamov having that wide open net.
22 seconds remaining in Van Impe's penalty, and the Soviets have come on strong in this power play opportunity. It's cleared down the ice, and Gusev is the first one back. Van Impe now has 10 seconds remaining in his penalty. Gusev with Clark watching him, trying to force the big defenseman back with it. The Soviets starting out. Maltsev on the move. Up to center ice. Van Impe is on now. Maltsev shoots it, and Stevenson covered the angle and just grabbed it and held onto it.
Face off to the left of Stevenson. Set to go. Kudjergen pushed off the puck. The weak shot stopped by Stevenson. As Volchkov on for the first time got a weak shot. On the boards, Volchkov couldn't keep it in. And now it comes to Volchenkov near center ice. Volchenkov was stopped. Van Impe out with Kelly. Kelly gets the pass, goes in on the left wing. Kelly racing for the net, right in on goal. And he couldn't get a pass over it in front to Leach, who was left uncovered. The pass down on the left side, a little too far for Labanov. Again, Philadelphia shooting it down the ice. This will be icing. Volchenkov touching it.
Trend of play, Dennis, changing just a little bit. In this second period, the Soviets have directed 16 shots at the goal. They have had 7 of them on. Tretiak has had 15 go his way. He has had 9 on the net. Each team has scored once.
The Soviets seem to be gaining a little bit of their poise.
5 minutes, 48 seconds remaining in the second period. 3-1, Philadelphia at center ice. Lonsberry racing after it against Glassov. Lonsberry tried to center it. Here's Dornhofer going into Lonsberry. Lonsberry back to Dornhofer on the boards. Dornhofer trying to keep it in for Lonsberry. A fight for it along the boards. Good enough. Got a stick on it. Good enough to Dornhofer. Dornhofer takes a shot. The high drive went off the glass and ricochets down the ice. Dupont. A pass in front of his own net. Good enough. Was in position to knife that one away just in time.
And Volchenkov caught the puck as it came into the Soviet players' bench area and then very graciously turned and flipped it up into the crowd. A souvenir for somebody.
5:15 remaining in the second period. Philadelphia up by 2 goals. Dupont in good enough, passing into each other. Good enough, fell, got back up again. He and Labanov bumped together. Now back to the net. Volchkov couldn't stop McLeish. He's up to center to Dornhofer. Dornhofer against Vasilyev. And Vasilyev, the defenseman, caught him in the corner with a check. Kudjergen back to the net. Tried to play it out over the line. Flyers break it up. Lonsberry had his pass stopped. Now good enough, falling. Cleared it in off the board. Glassov in his own zone starting out. Dropped it back to Vasilyev. Vasilyev for Vikulov. He was stopped right away. Kindrachuk breaking in. Kindrachuk back of the net, centered it. And it's cleared away before Schultz could move. Now Schultz on the boards. In for Selesky. Out to Kindrachuk. And Schultz. And Schultz falling, took a weak shot wide. 3-1 Philadelphia. Red Army on the move. A long shot by Glassov. Nowhere near the net. Selesky being watched by Solodukin. And they hold it on the boards, and the play is called. And 4 minutes remaining in this period as Schultz got it out across his own line for Kindrachuk. Selesky, one man back. Selesky going in. He gets set. He can't shoot it. Into the corner, Selesky trying to play it in front and was stopped. Schultz fell down. And coming out is Luchenko. He got as far as center, then lost control of it. Vikulov at the center ice area, played it ahead. Alexandrov was stopped. Now Vikulov and Glassov bumped together on the boards. Alexandrov ran into Kindrachuk and held him there. The play is called. They hold the puck on the boards as Schultz moves in to see what's going on.
Dennis, I don't know if you've been watching number 5, Vasilyev, of the Soviets. He just made a great play here a few moments ago. He's a pretty good defenseman.
Certainly is. He carries the puck very well. He has all the assets that you want from a good defenseman. And he's a very good hitter, too.
Now there's 2 Soviets hitting each other, really.
You don't see that too often.
These things happen in the best of systems, I guess.
They saw in the Soviet zone. Clark up the draw, the quick shot. And that one went off the outside of the post in back of the net. Barber back of the goal. He was checked right away near the line. Van Impe played it into the corner. Here's Barber after it. Solodukin watching him. Solodukin stopped by Clark to Barber. Barber back of the net in the corner to Clark, who centers it. It comes out and Leach was covered. And Gusev played it ahead. Here's Clark intercepting. Luchenko back on the defense now for the Red Army along with Loktev, and they're offside anyway up the blue line. Now sticks go high.
with Alexandrov and Leach getting something going.
Well, I think that others should stay out of it if they're the two that want to do something. Well, Alexandrov, you mentioned earlier, Bob, about how he was tossing whatever weight he has around. I think the award for the best elbow of the afternoon has got to go to him. He corked Dornhofer with one just below us here along the glass earlier in this second period. Dornhofer felt it, and I know.
Well, he's not very big, Dick, as we all know, but he's very aggressive.
Well, he's maybe the new breed. So it's Alexandrov and Leach at 17:08 off for roughing. Reggie Leach with 29 goals, sharing the NHL lead at this point in the season with Richard Martin of Buffalo.
Number 11, Modest Alexandrov, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Now, wait a minute, Leach. He has been given an extra 2. Hold on. Now the interpreter comes down to explain it to the Soviet bench. Gilmour has given Alexandrov an extra 2 minutes. It's that you can't talk back to the referee on sportsmanlike conduct penalty that is the new one this season in the NHL. Now we get a delay as they call the Soviet linesman over to the Army bench, and there is Gilmour as well. So incident maybe number 2.
Well, you see, Dick, I believe that here's an instance where Matt Pavlich picked up something that Alexandrov said and told the referee. That is the time when a linesman can tell a referee that something was wrong, and he can, in effect, call a penalty.
Well, as of now, the Soviet bench seems satisfied. They've got Kolagan down there behind the bench as well today. They have at least 3, I count 4 assistant coaches in behind. Now there's Aggie Kuklowitz, the penalty box interpreter, sorting things out from that angle, and we seem to be ready to go.
Face-off is coming up outside the Red Army line. Clark back for Jimmy Watson. Watson at his own blue line for Van Impe. Van Impe looks around. They're 5 aside at the moment. And again, Jimmy Watson backing up with it. Now his pass, that was blocked. Barber couldn't move it. Jimmy Watson again backing up. Now Clark gets the pass coming out with Barber. And Clark is racing in. Clark up over the line, and offside was Barber. At the blue line, a close call. But Yuri Karandin, the Soviet linesman, was there. And it was he who called it.
Bobby Clark, I was watching him, sort of started to make a beeline toward the linesman. One of his teammates steered him a bit wide, and Bobby decided that he'd just keep going wide. He didn't say anything.
Leach and Alexandrov have a minute. Well, Leach has 1:30 remaining, and Alexandrov, of course, 3:30. He got the double minor. At the moment, they're 5 aside. Selesky breaking in. Selesky couldn't shoot it. It comes to center ice. Now Watson played it ahead. Kindrechuk and Selesky took a shot. That's stopped by Pretyak. The high drive he grabbed with his left hand. Red Army starting back. Mikhailov comes up over the blue line. Mikhailov gets set to make a play. He was stopped. Now it's Kharlamov trying to dig his way in, and he was stopped. Kindrechuk coming back with Selesky. Kindrechuk up over the line. A pass over on the other side. Right in is Watson. And Watson's shot is stopped by Pretyak. A brilliant save by the Soviet goaltender. Here's Dornhofer. Dornhofer can't shoot it. He still has it, though. Center to Clark. Right in front to Watson. And again, Pretyak comes up with a great save on Watson. Gusev belted into the boards by Dornhofer. They push at each other. And here's Bladen with a drive. That was stopped by Pretyak. Down into the corner, Vasilyev shoots it to center ice. Leach will be back on in 20 seconds from now. Good enough. And Barber exchanged passes for Dornhofer. In with Clark on his left. And it's Dornhofer going in. Dornhofer gets in front of the goal, then gives it to Clark. Back to the line. Barber took a shot. Oh, that one was deflected. Another shot by Goodenough was wide. Barber on the other side played it into the corner. Now the Flyers are at full strength. They have the man advantage. Here's Bobby Clark in front. Oh, and Pretyak down on his knees. Stopped the shot by Leach. 40 seconds remaining in the period. Into the corner goes Bobby Clark on this power play. Back to the line to Dornhofer and Barber. Barber shot the rebound. Oh! And Leach couldn't knock it in. He lifted it too high. 25 seconds remaining in the period as they get a whistle in the Soviet zone to the left.
Now some close calls around the Soviet net. Again, Tretiak tested. I mentioned that Alan Eagleson will be speaking with Brian during the intermission as we look at this play again. We tried to get an official of the NHL up here during the first intermission to discuss the Soviets' walking out routine, but we couldn't get anybody to agree to come up at that point. There's that a close call there. Watson was the man that was in tight. They seem to be, Bob, at times, the Flyers, a little bit too close right here. They were waiting to shoot, I thought, on a couple of occasions when it's easier to tell from up here, I guess, and they might have let it go a little sooner.
Here's Bladen stopping one at the line, and he couldn't keep it in. Cleared down the ice by Vikulov. 15 seconds remaining in the period. Solodukin at center ice stopped the Flyers, and Vikulov trying to catch up to it. DuPont gave it to Lonsberry. Lonsberry, a long shot with just 3 seconds remaining, was wide. Back of the net as the horn goes to end the second period. Philadelphia Flyers 3. The Soviet Red Army 1.
Well, Tretiak has faced a total of 31 shots so far through the first two periods. But the Soviet Army team, especially in the final 10 minutes of this second period, began, as Denny Potvin pointed out, to regain some poise and played a lot better and had a lot more scoring chances. The total shots on goal in the second period, by the Soviets 8, their two-period total is 10. By the Flyers 14, and their two-period total is 31.
3-1, Philadelphia. Here we go into the final 20 minutes of Super Series 76. And I think fans across the country realize that this is the game. Champion against champion. And it's the Flyers' Barber going in. He took the pass to Leach, straight in front, and he couldn't tip it in. Back to the line, good enough, took a shot. That one went wide. And Red Army clearing it. Vikulov going down the right side, cuts up near the line, gets set, couldn't shoot it. And it's Leach coming back with DuPont and Clark. Clark going in to DuPont. DuPont to Clark, right in on goal. And it was stopped by Tretiak in the crease. The red light did not go on. Clark has his hands high over his head as if a goal were scored, but no, sir. It was outside the line.
Bobby's not complaining to any great degree, Bob, so I think that maybe that's a pretty good indication. Sometimes, Denny, players figure it might help to get those arms and sticks up in a hurry in a situation like that. We'll look at it again. We can see, Dennis, on the monitor here, just how close it came. As Tretiak flops, and it's somewhere underneath him.
I think Barber thought he might have seen it, but I guess Tretiak had it covered up well.
34 seconds left in the penalty to Alexandrov.
And now the face-off to the left of Tretiak. Niglish hammered one wide of the net. It's cleared by Vasiliev off the boards and down the ice. Stevenson stopping it. Good enough. Right in front of his own goal. Nearly lost it. Vasiliev in the center ice area. Just played it back to Luchenko. Luchenko gets it handed back to him again. Then shoots it up through the middle with 12 seconds left in Alexandrov's penalty. DuPont is around the net. DuPont left it for Lonsberry starting out. The rink-wide pass. Now it's cleared back by Dornhofer. Alexandrov is back on. Soviet Red Army at full strength. Here's Dornhofer on the rink-wide pass going in. He took a shot. Again, the high drive. Most of his shots, Dick, have been way up high, and this one going off the glass into the crowd.
Bob, a minor skirmish prior to the game. Your friend Ozerov, the Russian broadcaster, did not appear to enjoy the position they gave him, even though he's down by the boards. But he didn't win his battle. I think, by your estimation, he is now still ahead 56-1, is he not, in arguments over these series?
I don't know where the one came from, but...
Today.
Okay. Kharlamov down over the line. Kharlamov dropped it back, and the Flyers pick it up. Niglish starting out slowly. And he's coming down with Bladen on his right. McLeish decides to shoot it in wide of the net. Gusev in the Soviet zone, lining it up, and here they come. Mikhailov at center. Mikhailov back to Gusev.
He hooked a high one in. Stevenson out of the net made the grab on it. And Joe Watson back of the goal for Schultz. Schultz coming out. The rink-wide pass has it to Selesky. His shot is stopped by Tretiak. Schultz took a shot. It's back of the net. Selesky after it. Selesky looking around. He got away from Gusev. Now into the corner, Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk is bumped by the centerman Malsev, and they hold it. They'll get a whistle. Lloyd Gilmour, the referee of today's game, and he is showing signs of fatigue. It's been a hot contest up to this point. 2 minutes, 16 seconds gone in the third period. 3-1, Philadelphia Flyers leading. Here's the long pass, Volchkov going up over the line, dropping it back, and Stevenson took the shot from Begiergen easily. Kindrachuk, a long rink-wide pass. Selesky in the center ice area, stick handling neatly. Selesky coming in with Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk tried to slide it in front. He couldn't. He goes to the corner around the net. Now Selesky. He couldn't get a shot away. Kindrachuk picked the pass. Now at the rim of the circle to the left of Tretiak is Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk gave it to Selesky, and his shot wide of the net. Coming in, Jimmy Watson. Jimmy Watson kept it in for Selesky. Selesky gets set to make a play. He turned around with it. Selesky shoots away off to the corner. Van Impe moving up. He kept it in. The Flyers changing on the goal. And Clark forechecking again beautifully. Bobby Clark back of the net. He's knocked down. A penalty coming up. This will be against the Soviets. And Volchenkov will be going off.
Today's game is coming to you from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Soviets number 13, Alexei Volchenkov, has been penalized for hooking. Bobby Clark was his target. There he is in the penalty box. 16:46 left in the game, 3-1 Flyers.
And now Philadelphia with a man advantage. Clark, McLeish, and Leach. Good enough, and Barber comes back to Barber, over to Good enough. Good enough into the face-off circle, back to Barber. His shot stopped. And Tretiak hangs on to it with Leach all over him.
Good job of tossing the puck around. Dennis, the Flyers have done an excellent job for the most part while they have had a man advantage.
They've been moving the puck around extremely well, and you notice that even lines like Schultz and Selesky aren't giving the puck up. They're always getting that play made.
Leach back to the line, and Barber has to move in quickly for Leach. Leach on the boards. They took it away from him, but here's Barber closing in. Oh, the shot went off Clark and just dribbled wide of the open side. Good enough into Bobby Clark. He centered it. It nearly went by Leach, but he managed to keep it in. Here's McLeish on an angle. McLeish shoots, and Tretiak stopped it. Now Clark behind the goal. Clark right in front, jams at it, and Tretiak is down. They get a whistle as Bobby Clark came around the net and tried to jam it in underneath the goaltender, Tretiak.
Well, there's Karinden, the Soviet linesman, who was right there in the play. Tretiak had that one covered, Dennis, pretty well on the post side as Clark swung around the net. Here it comes.
You see Clark coming around. You can see the Flyers are awfully hungry for that fourth goal. They know that the fourth goal might just wrap it up for them, break the Soviets back.
No, they do not want Mr. Loktev and his team to get to within one.
Clark is remaining on. Dornhofer is on with him along with Lonsbury. Here's Clark with it again. Out in front it comes. Good enough. Bobby Clark set it up for Good enough, and another great goal.
Well, there was number 4 for you, Dennis. A good heads-up play on the part of both Clark, who passed it, and Good enough, who looked like Dennis Buffett in a way, moving in from the point position.
Certainly, Dave, Clark saw the open man. They just fed it to him. And Good enough just put his head down and fired that puck towards the net. As long as he hit the net, good chance of scoring. Important goal for him.
Well, it came on the power play, and Bobby Clark was doing his thing as he worked in back of the red line. Very good enough moving in from the right point position. It's 4-1 Flyers.
4:01, the time of the goal here in the third period. Now Kindrachuk through center ice. He goes back with it, gives it to Joe Watson. Watson shoots one in wide of Tretiak's goal into the corner. They lose it in front of the net. Now the Soviets covering up, and Popov's long pass didn't work. Solodukin takes it at center. He gets up over the line. Solodukin lost it. And coming back quickly is Loktev.
Giving it to Luchenko. He made a head fake and turn around. Chris was watching him. Out the far side, it's knocked down by Kindrachuk. Loktev again. Brings it out over his own blue line. He goes to center. Chris chased him. It went by Selesky, but Joe Watson was back to cover up. He gave it to Selesky. Selesky working his way out slowly. Selesky goes to center. Tipped it ahead for Chris. And he was stopped by Solodukin. Loktev winding up for the Soviets. The pass out to center. Alexandrov is dangerous too. He nearly got through. He was put off stride by Bladen. On the boards, they hold it. Nikulov went in with a stick, and the play is called.
There's a look at the press box from the camera located up here. There's Keith Allen, the right of your screen, general manager of the Flyers.
Nearing the 6-minute mark of the third period. 4-1 Philadelphia. McLeish picking his way out and skating to center. McLeish, Dornhofer, and Lonsberry. Here's Dornhofer going in. And a shot dribbled wide of the goal. McLeish is down in the corner after it. So is Lonsberry. Lonsberry for McLeish the other way. McLeish back of the net. They pass the puck around beautifully. Now it's intercepted. McLeish steals it. He took it away from Maltsev. A pass to Lonsberry. His high shot went up off the glass. Gusev now clearing it, but not out over the line. They keep it in. Now Jimmy Watson was stopped. And here's McLeish back in for it. He's skating miles. McLeish centered it. Oh! They shot another shot. And from the scramble, it's out of the crease. Down it goes to Mikhailov, in on the wing. Oh! And he was hit hard by Ed Van Impe on the boards. Now Leach in his own zone. Jimmy Watson behind the net. Out for Barber at the blue line. Barber is stopped right away by Vasilyev. Maltsev clears it back to Gusev. Gusev's pass. And here's Mikhailov flipping it up to Kharlamov. Look out, Ed Van Impe had him covered. Mikhailov to try it again. Nearing the 7-minute mark of the third period. Here's Kharlamov through center ice. Kharlamov dancing in, and wacko! He was hit by Barber. Now Barber tipped it out to center ice. Vasilyev at his own blue line. Long pass to center. It went by Mikhailov and Leach. Fake the pass. Now Leach still carries. He goes over on the right side. Went by Gusev. They grab each other. The play goes right on back of the net. Soviets being forechecked by Bobby Clark. And Gusev's pass out to center. Kudyerkin. He was stopped. Here's Clark and Barber going in. And it's Barber cutting for the net. Can't shoot it. And Barber still has control. Barber got away from Vasilyev. Then was held on the boards by the big defenseman. And the play is called in the Soviet Red Army zone.
Dennis, the Flyers have sort of turned it around a little bit in this period after, as you pointed out, the Soviets regained some poise in the second.
I think the Flyers are reminding me a lot of a boxer. You know, they come in the offensive zone and they jab and jab until they get something. Then they retreat and hold their blue line very well.
A quick shot from the draw by Selesky, and Kretyak, who has been outstanding, Dennis, in the entire series, and the same today.
I think he's been very, very good. He's playing the puck very well. He's very alert. And I think that if it wasn't for Kretyak, the score might even be much higher.
Shots 11-1 at this point in this period.
Now Schultz watching the pass come out from Glassoff to center ice. Here's Kudyerkin breaking in. He gets set. Stevenson covered that. And he hangs on to it. Only his second shot in this period. 4-1 is the score. Philadelphia leading.
Wayne Stevenson has the experience of playing against the Soviets several years ago, of course, and he was with the national team based in Winnipeg.
12:25 remaining, as you just saw on the big clock at center ice here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. And it's Selesky on the right wing boards. His pass got to center ice. Nobody could pick it up. Now Joe Watson ran into Labanov and knocked him down. Here's Glassoff. He has to go back again. Glassoff doing a bit of a dance. Now it's knocked down by Bladen. Now he goes in after Glassoff and decides to retreat. Glassoff, a pass over on the left side. Luchenko laid it down the ice, and it's cleared again by Philadelphia. Kindrachuk ahead for Selesky. Didn't quite make the pass. Schultz skates through center. Joe Watson left it at his own blue line. Bladen's pass went off Crisp. Schultz on the left side. He was bumped on the boards. Crisp is racing into the zone against Volchenkov. Crisp has him. Back of the net. Volchenkov trying to get loose from the corner. Crisp is still after him. And the puck goes bouncing over the line to center ice. Now they play it up in front of the net where Van Impe put a pass down the center. And Bridgman going in with Kelly. And the shot is stopped by Tretiak. Back comes Soviet Red Army out over the line. They clear it down. Labanov was hit hard and knocked flying. Long shot by Kelly off the boards. That's in back of the net. Now here's Lakotko. He gets away from one check thrown by Bridgman. Kelly went after him, missed him. Out at center ice. Having to wrap it up again now. Van Impe couldn't clear it, but Bobby Clark was back to pick it up. Couldn't move it out. Now Van Impe flipped it up for Bridgman. Bridgman's pass down the ice at the line. Volchenkov slides it through to the blue line, and Popov brings it out again with Vikulov. Vikulov stopped up the line. Barber couldn't reach it. Now it's Lakotko going in. Oh! And fanning on the shot was Vikulov right on the crease. 4-1 Philadelphia, nearing the halfway mark of the period. Barber racing to center. He can't get up to it. Luchenko's pass up to center ice. Red Army stopped right there by McLeish for checking. Barber went after it. So does McLeish. Here's McLeish going in. McLeish driving in. And his shot barely grabbed by Tretiak. It went off his arm. McLeish behind the net with Barber. Barber looking around. Dumped it in front. And here's McLeish getting set. He was tied up and couldn't shoot it. A drive by Dupont. That went up high. Here's good enough. Good enough shoots. Right in front of the goal, and Solodukin was there. Solodukin clearing it up on the wing. Alexandrov missed it. Flyers changing on the goal. Now Red Army making some changes. And the Flyers fans giving them a hand. Alexandrov is stopped. Here's McLeish coming in again. Right in front of the goal. And he was forced back of the net. Tretiak covering on the angle. Lakotko, he was stopped by Dornhofer. Dornhofer's forechecking paying off now. Here's Dornhofer from the corner looking around. Slides it back. Here's good enough. Oh, the rebound. Oh, and Tretiak was very, very fast. When he lost it, he turned around and jumped on it. It was going in.
With 9:12 remaining in the third period, the score, the Philadelphia Flyers 4, the Soviet Army 1. So far in this third period, the Flyers have directed 25 shots toward the Soviet net.
Kindrachuk's shot just went off the stick of Tretiak. Now they keep it in. Here's Dupont letting it go. That was stopped. Maltsev, a long pass up the center. Mikhailov was stopped. Kharlamov carries on. Now Mikhailov was bumped in front of the net, and Kindrachuk comes out of the melee. He's up to center ice. Kindrachuk with Selesky. Selesky's shot. That's high up over the net. Schultz winds up. Doesn't shoot it. He cuts in for the goal. Then he lost it in the face-off circle. Coming back, Maltsev down the right side. Going in on Dupont. He drops it back for Kharlamov cutting around the goal. He centered it. And Dupont covering up. Hooked the high one down the ice. Vasilyev at his own blue line. Now the Soviets coming on strong again. Putting together some sort of offensive. They shoot it in. Joe Watson played it off for Selesky. And he dumped it to center ice. Nearing the 12-minute mark of the third period, it's 4-1 Philadelphia. And the Flyers appear to be playing defensive hockey now. Here's Kutyergin. He comes up over center, trying to fake his way through, and his pass went back out over the line. Back it comes to Vasilyev. Vasilyev and Volchenkov back there, but the pass went the other way right to Joe Watson. Watson dumped it into the Soviet zone. 7:45 remaining in the hockey game, and coming out, Luchenko. He was stopped and fell down. Now it's cleared in by McLeish around the net, going after it. Vasilyev and Dornhofer was bumped. Here's Dornhofer coming in. He circles to go back to the corner, still has it, into Bobby Clark. Bobby Clark looking around, he centered it, it hit a skate. And bringing it out is Labanov. Down the left side over center, Labanov going in with Volchkov. His pass was stopped, Kutyergin was covered. Out to the line, they keep it in. And Stevenson doing the splits. Watch the shot go by him. Now Clark was given a jolt back there. I believe Bobby Clark took a high stick
He's looking around, shaking his head, and he has been cut over the left eye.
The Soviet player involved was Kuchikin, and I think that it was an accident because the Soviet player immediately dropped his stick and went to Clark.
I definitely think it looked like there was some sort of a commotion in front of the net with the Soviet player and Tom Bladen. I think when the sticks came up high, Bobby Clark probably just happened to walk into one of the flying sticks. I don't think it was intentional.
Well, Dennis, I'll tell you one thing about Clark. He doesn't want to finish this game in the dressing room.
No way.
Are you kidding? It'd take a lot more than that.
Well, anyway, no damage done after the incident in which Clark got the stick and has gone now to the bench here. I don't know if he's gone to the dressing room, but in any event, it seemed to be of the accidental variety. Tretiak has been busy. The Flyers have outshot the Army team 45-11 to this point. Here's a back of the net look at one of the saves. I'm not quite sure who shot it, that Tretiak has pulled off in this period.
Now from the face-off, Crisp got the draw, tied up his man, then got back up on his skates to take it to center. Eluded a check thrown by Volchenkov, and it goes in back of the net. Barber gets set from the angle. Barber still hanging on to it. Barber in the corner. He'll hold it there. Now he lost control of it, and it's cleared out on the boards. Volchenkov goes to center, and Leach caught up with him. Leach brought it back in. Couldn't go around Volchenkov. Volchenkov's long pass intended for Kudjergin. He didn't pick it up. Jimmy Watson behind the net in the Philadelphia zone. And here it comes with Leach, breaking away with Barber on his left. And Leach shoots it in. Wide of the goal with 6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the game. 4-1 Philadelphia. Here's McLeish going in. McLeish shoots. And that's stopped by Tretiak. He just held his cool and cut the angle down. Vlasov around the goal. Vlasov's pass in front of the net for Volchenkov. He's out to the line to center ice. Here's Labanov. And Nikolov went flying again. Here's Dornhoffer. His shot went off the stick of Vlasov. It's centered. And Tretiak covered up. Luchenko down on the right wing for Vikulov, cutting in. Vikulov going around Dupont, stopping in the corner. Couldn't set it up in front of McLeish, coming out again. He's been skating well in this hockey game. McLeish couldn't go through alone with 5:35 remaining in the game. 4-1, Philadelphia leading. Alexandrov going in with Vikulov. That's broken up. Potko flipped it back, got it relayed to him, then up across the line. Solodukin going up. Solodukin over the line. He tried to go through, and Philadelphia bring it right back, led by Kindrachuk. He's going in with Bridgman. And Selesky! Oh! And Tretiak made the save. He nearly went back to the net with it, but he held it out.
That shot by Selesky was the 48th of the afternoon for Philadelphia. Here it comes, back of the net look, as Tretiak almost dragged the puck in with him, the force of the shot, knocking him down into the goal crease. This is an all-time high shots on goal for an NHL team against the Soviets. Beats the 46 the Sabres had on the wings last Sunday.
From the face-off, Joe Watson near the line took a shot. It was wide of the net. Kindrachuk chasing it. Solodukin watching him. Kindrachuk got away from the Soviet player Solodukin. Now he goes to the corner a second time. Still handles it well. Kindrachuk trying to stick handle from the corner out front. They just hold him there. Now he circles the other way, and they get a whistle. No, they don't. The play goes right on. They held it for a second, but no whistle. Now it's Kindrachuk again after it. This time he holds it with a skate, and this time they call it with 4:39 remaining in the game. 4-1, Flyers.
Dennis, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to properly talk about him when he's on camera. Clark is back, and everybody's cheering. But I can't say enough for the game that Rick McLeish has played this afternoon. He has been, in my estimation, just outstanding.
Rick McLeish has been handling a puck as though he had a nail on the puck, as though Al Arbor would say. The Russians, the Soviets don't seem to be taking the man out in the corner. They let him turn and go back and forth with the puck, and consequently, Flyers keep control.
Face-off, it goes to the corner. Luchenko cleared it out. Maltsev was stopped. Here's Kharlamov racing down. He's fast. Kharlamov going in, stops, nearly carried on. But it was cleared by Stevenson away from the goal crease.
Barber stands behind his own net. Barber just waiting. The Flyers are killing this third period now. As far as the clock goes, a long pass. Leach racing in. Tretiak out of the net. Shoots it up on the left side. Now it's back in for Vasiliev. He's up to center. The pass into Mikhailov. He has to go back with it. Mikhailov near his own line. Kharlamov takes his pass. Now less than 4 minutes remaining. Kharlamov trying to get away from Clark and failed. Clark back on. Took a check from Kharlamov. Here's Barber breaking in. Shoots. That's stopped by Tretiak. And Maltsev behind the net. He lost it. Right in front it comes. And Barber came close. Here's Barber trying to set up Bobby Clark. Barber back of the net. Clark standing off the edge of the crease. Now Barber is bumped by Maltsev. The puck comes loose for Bobby Clark. Bobby Clark gets set. Cuts for the net. A pass in front. And it was intercepted by Mikhailov racing away with Kharlamov. Here's Mikhailov. And his shot is got the rebound. And Stevenson made another great save. He gets a big hand for those two fine saves, Wayne Stevenson. And he hasn't been very busy in this game. Vasiliev circles at center. Vasiliev, a pass to Mikhailov. Mikhailov circles back. McLeish watching him. McLeish has him covered well at center ice. And they shoot it into the Soviet zone. Vasiliev back of the net around the goal against McLeish. A long pass to center. And this is Maltsev going in, breaking for the net. Maltsev's backhander is stopped, and DuPont took him into the boards. 2:45 remaining in the game. Philadelphia in control. 4-1 is the score. At center ice, it's grabbed by Labanov, who shoots it in. Stevenson covering up. DuPont back of the net. DuPont pushed it ahead. And Lonsberry coming out. Lonsberry across the line. 2.5 minutes remaining. A long shot in off the boards. Here's Volchenkov back for it. Volchenkov from the corner. He's starting out now. Picks his way to center ice. Volchenkov, the Flyers all come back and wait for them now. And they meet them right there at the blue line. Everybody's standing up. It's kept in by Vlasov into the corner. Now the play is called for a face-off near the blue line.
From the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Super Series 76. Kenny Potvin, your point was well taken earlier in the broadcast about a goaltender that doesn't have that much to do. And here's Stevenson with those two big saves here a moment ago.
Right, he's asked to come up with a couple of big saves throughout the games, and there it was.
And now they shoot it into the Philadelphia zone. And we have 2 minutes remaining in the hockey game. Gary Crisp at his own zone at the blue line, moved it up along the boards, took a check from Volchenkov as he did. Kindrachuk backhands it into the Soviet zone to the left of the net. Volchenkov coming out. He gets to his own blue line. Volchenkov's pass to Volchkov. He circles at center and goes back with it. 1:40 remaining. And it's Volchkov back in his own zone, turning and coming out. He was stopped by Crisp. Crisp is checking them back in again now. Kudyrkin circling with it. Kudyrkin brings it out, gets over the line, the pass ahead, and they get it over the line, but Joe Watson was there. Watson's pass went by Crisp. Well, Dennis, all of Canada, I think, are very proud of Philadelphia today. And at last, the Flyers, I think, are proving they're number one. And I think it's safe to say everybody has been behind them from coast to coast. 1 minute remaining in this game. And it's 4-1. The countdown begins. Here's Bobby Clark, the inspirational leader for Philadelphia. Van Impe to Watson to Barber. Barber to Clark. Didn't work. Now Lakotko. Through center ice, and Vikulov stopped up the line. Alexandrov brought it in. They're offside with 41 seconds remaining.
Dennis mentioned at the top of this third period about the fact that the conditioning maybe being a factor in the last 20 minutes, but the Flyers have certainly been equal to that task.
Seems to me as though the Flyers are as in good a condition as any club in the world, and they're certainly proving it today. And I think they're just proving the fact that the Flyers can only win hockey games by being rough. I think they're showing expertise in hockey today.
Oh, here it is. 40 seconds remaining. Ed Van Impe. Jimmy Watson. Watson out for Barber. Back to Watson. Watson inside the line. Out to Barber. To Watson again, and Barber takes over on the boards. Look at that. Down to Bobby Clark as the fans begin the chant. We're number one. Right in front of the net it comes. And Dornhofer winds up. near the blue line, skates back to center ice. We have 15 seconds remaining, ladies and gentlemen. And now 10, a standing ovation for the Philadelphia Flyers as they pass it around in their own zone. It's all over, 3 seconds, and Philadelphia has defeated the Soviet Red Army team quite convincingly today, 4-1.
And I don't think there's been a reaction like this in this building since the Flyers beat the Bruins for the Stanley Cup in 1974. You know, I think here today you've got to give a lot of credit to Fred Shero and Keith Allen, just as was the case in Montreal with Scotty Bowman and Sam Pollock, and Buffalo with Floyd Smith and Punch Black. Their teams were ready. As you pointed out, Dennis, from your standpoint, you found out last night it is not easy. And these are the clubs that got the points for the National Hockey League, and naturally you've got to give credit where credit is due.
Exactly. I think that probably where Buffalo and Philadelphia came out so strong is that they felt that they could win by playing their own game, and they went out and they played their own style of hockey. They weren't deterred by anything that happened during the game. You have to give the Flyers credit. They played an excellent hockey game. I would say